Very pleased. It's a privilege to speak here at the Pontifical Academy of Science and to do so with the European Academy of Cancer Science, which has played and is playing a key role in shaping Europe's cancer vision. So I'm Thomas Dubois. I'm not a professor, I'm a doctor with a demographic background. I'm the head of European and International Affairs at the National Cancer Institute. I'm pleased to do this presentation with my colleague and friend Albrecht, co-coordinator of the European Network of Comprehensive Cancer CCCs. We are part of the coordination team, together with Per Magnus Mahler and Mark van den Beek, which are also present here today. So it's a flagship initiative of the European Cancer Beating Plan. So today we want to speak with the angle of cancer resilience and why CCCs and the networks they form through EUNetCCC are essential to achieving it. But let's begin maybe by setting out the challenge. So Europe is globally recognized as for its excellence in cancer research and innovation, but yes, we think we face a paradox. As science progresses, inequalities are widening. The last EUCD European Synthesis report on inequalities confirms the trend. It shows that 20%, there is a 24% increase in cancer prevalence since 2010. The 5-year survival for breast cancer still ranges from 75% to over 90%, depending on the country. And the participation in screening is stagnating in half of the EU countries, and even in few countries, even declining. So when we look at the cancer mortality by region, we see a clear pattern, a right or positively skewed distribution, with a small number of regions, mostly in the Central and Eastern European countries, bearing a disproportionately high burden, sometimes often over 300 deaths per 100,000. So, as the report highlights, such disparities are structural in nature, actually, so sometimes driven by mostly driven by uneven capacity across regions in Europe. So tackling them requires more than clinical excellence. It requires organized infrastructures that are population-based, territorially ensured, and accessible to all. So in short, we may say that we lack the structure to turn our scientific knowledge into equity. These disparities are not only between member states, they are deeply territorial. In France, for instance, cancer mortality ranges depending on the region from 100 to over 200 per 100,000. Italy and Spain show the similar north-south gradients, for instance, with marked differences in both access and outcomes. So these variations cannot be only explained by incidence alone. They reflect a structural gap in access to specialized centers, in timely diagnosis, and in coordinated care pathways. So in short, there's no longer just a clinical or medical issue. It's a health system issue and fundamentally a public health challenge. So this is why I'd like to hand over to you, maybe Tit, if you want to comment and present maybe EUNetCCC and the response that we provide.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, Thomas, for the introduction. So, in preparation for the project that is described briefly on this next slide, there was another project, a preparatory project called Joint Action CraNE, which actually did a thorough review of the existing standards and criteria for comprehensive cancer centers across Europe and prepared a document which compiles the sets of standards and criteria for the EUNetCCC certified centers. This project served as the framework, as the ground base also with the view of developing a governance structure for the network. So in the program of EU for Health program for 2023, there was a call for the project, which was allocated with a very large sum of money for this kind of a project. So 90 million euros comes from EU funding, and 20 million euros is in kind financing provided by the member states participating in the project. There are in total 31 countries participating, all EU member states, plus 4 associated countries, Norway, Iceland, Moldova, and Ukraine. There are a total of 163 partners, and the duration of the project is 4 years. There are 9 work packages in total. The platform we see combines different elements, different perspectives. One is to build synergies between national and European level initiatives. We have to keep in mind, and Thomas already alluded to this, it's not only about differences and disparities within countries, it's also how countries are governed. And we should not forget that many of the European countries are federal states, and even those that are not federal, such as, for example, Sweden, are decentralized in this means that, of course, the perspective of regions is extremely important in building any kind of a structure. So there is a bridge between the idea of strengthening the capacity and, of course, the vision of care that is enveloped in a structure such as a region in a country. There should be enhancement of participation in European programs, enhanced European innovation in oncology, effects of a large-scale impact, and of course accelerating the transfer from research to practice. We insist on the triangle between care, research, and education and training that have to be integrated, all three as key cornerstones of CCCs. So what is the impact for stakeholders? At the national level, integration of national CCCs in a European network with better visibility, improvement of patient access to high-quality cancer treatments, which is, of course, one of the objectives. Key objectives of this project: foster national participation in different initiatives such as G7 Cancer, and address inequities in cancer care at the national and regional levels. For the cancer centers, of course, we are not a project that falls from the sky. We have strong existing mechanisms that have been developed by the European Organization of Cancer Institutes, OECI, and by the German Cancer Aid, Deutsche Krebshilfe. We are building on the experiences of these two systems, and we have incorporated them into the standard structure as well. There should be faster adoption of best practices and emerging technologies, and using the network to test and display innovations. We have already launched a piloting project which serves to enhance the access of aspiring centers to certification and membership, recognition and membership to the network. There should be a preparation of the next generation of European scientists and access to training programs, and of course also cross-border exchanges and collaborations with other European networks. Maybe you can pick up.
So why CCCs matter? There are several studies confirm their added value, not a lot, few actually. So there maybe lack a lack of evidence so far, but a recent scoping review described how CCCs consistently deliver stronger coordination, research output, and system-wide impact across countries. And the large population-based study in the US, based on the, of course, well-known US NCI designated cancer centers program, show that patients treated in CCCs have significantly better survival than those treated elsewhere. So this is why CCC matters. They're not just center of excellence, they are kind of structural tools to improve patients' outcomes and reduce inequalities. It's not only about moving from fragmented efforts to organized collaboration. CCCs are probably no longer standalone institutions. They act as kind of coordination hubs in their ecosystem, horizontally, so connecting and making cooperation with hospitals, universities, public authorities, etc., and vertically also across the entire patient pathway. So they're more than hospital, it's beyond. They're not just care providers, and this is what they make them kind of unique infrastructure. And we believe through EUNetCCC that this is a kind of infrastructure we should support through this European effort, but not only, also at the international level. We are establishing collaboration with our US counterparts, with also Australian that are forming the networks. In Japan also, they have the CCC. So the CCC concept is a bit like traveling all around the world, and then a bit structuring also as a key concept for developing cooperation. So to build the network, we have established several key steps. So we're not only establishing a certification, but that's a key element, of course. The official launch of the network will be done in November, next November in Paris. And it will be followed by a testing phase of the certification system, establishing the path to go to our objective, which is creating 100 CCCs in Europe, a network of 100 CCCs in Europe. So in comparison, the NCI designated program is 72. Okay. So now we are developing this whole network through different kind of activities. It's not only consisting of certification, but also capacity building activities and also cooperation activities, which are key elements because we're looking for, of course, the added value of working all together. So to do this, again, we will develop an EU certification. So the certification is much more than a label. It's a lever for trust, investment, and collaboration. We hope that the system will, it's a system that is regulation compliant, built with the key EU principles, because it was asked formally by the Commission itself to make it compliant with the regulation. And but we've also established a fast-track mechanism to make sure that we can recognize existing certifications such as DKH and OECI 1. So what the system will provide is a unified system that can gather all the certification. And in the end, EUNetCCC will offer a clear and structured architecture to support coordinated investment at all levels. So it's built around concrete elements, shared definition and certification system, governance mechanism, collaboration between infrastructures, And it's ready to channel the different funding from multiple sources. So, of course, the classical European programs, EU4Health, Horizon Europe, also the digital programs, et cetera, but also you can think about how the structural investment from the Commission can support some efforts in the for instance, the less advanced or resources countries. Final word, Tit?
One of the key points of the Europe's Beating Cancer Plan is, of course, increasing quality, and the other one is reducing inequalities across the continent. And there is obviously a strong focus on underserved regions. Some of them will have to, of course, take several steps. Some countries have been better prepared to face the challenges of establishing CCCs and have taken already legislative measures to support that. And in some countries, this is still forthcoming. They need to decide how they are going to structure their care. This also depends on a topic that some of you know very well, the topic of national cancer control programs, where these programs have been in place since a long time. They usually also incorporate the stratification and the structuring of care and research institutions. There should be better efficiency through cooperation, access to shared expertise. This is especially important for smaller EU member states, the smallest ones, which will, of course, collaborate with others in order to achieve better compliance with to achieve compliance with the standards and criteria, but also to enhance their own capacity with such collaborations. There should be mutual support at the core, of course, connecting mature CCCs with emerging centers, and to that end, we have established also a twinning program in one of the work packages of the project, which will support direct bilateral collaborations between more mature centers and those who are aspiring. We both thank you for your attention.